It's Friday, March 20th, 2015, and let's talk about what happened this week over at xdadevelopers.com. First, just thought I'd point out what I think looks like a pretty decent deal. Through the 24th of March, if you pick up a Moto X through Motorola's website, you can get a free Moto E to go along with it. Looks like the Moto X comes in right at about $500, so if you're in the market for a new phone, and you know somebody else who might also be looking for one, may be a way to save you all a few bucks one way or another. HTC made news this week when they announced their Uh Oh program. With that, if you buy an HTC flagship device anytime on or after April 10th, including the M7 and the M8, and you break it within the first year, you get a free one-time overnight replacement. If you don't break your device within that first year, you get a $100 discount on the next HTC phone you buy. That is a pretty decent offering if you ask me. I can't tell you how many people I've seen running around with smashed up screens still trying to use their devices because they just can't justify spending another $500 to $800 for a new one and they're not up for renewal quite yet. The full details on it can of course be found in the portal post, and HTC did an AMA over on Reddit to answer some additional questions about it and ended up answering a bunch of other questions about other things, so you should probably give that a read. Lots of good information in that. Microsoft announced this week they're going to be making Windows Phone 10 available for the Xiaomi Mi 4, which is a really interesting move in my opinion. Xiaomi isn't actually going to be putting it on any of their devices, they're not going to be selling it running Windows Phone, but Microsoft has offered to support Mi 4 owners who flash Windows Phone 10 to their device. So if you've got one of those, and if you're a fan of Windows Phone, and if you are, I'm not sure why you would own the Mi 4, but whatever, or if maybe if you're just curious about it and you want to try it out, you can try it out when it does become available. I'd be willing to bet we'll see a multi-ROM setup with Android and Windows Phone 10 before long after it is released, if I had to guess. So you end up with the best of both worlds there. If you mixed in Ubuntu with that as well, you'd have a really interesting device. Moving on, a little while back we spoke about XDA recognized developer Mohammed AG getting Android Wear working with an iPhone. Well, he's apparently been digging around in the Android Wear 4.4W code, and he's stumbled upon some of the code there that makes it sound like Google might be working on adding in support for iPhones to Android Wear. Not sure how many of you guys that's actually going to appeal to, but I thought it was definitely worth mentioning, because having a device that only works with Android and only for KitKat and beyond devices, it can be a bit limiting. Several other Google-related announcements came out this week as well. Apparently, you can now send Hangout messages through Google Now by just saying, "Okay Google, send a Hangouts message," or "Okay Google, send a Hangout," or "Okay Google, send a Hangout message." I've tried it across several of my devices, and I got it to work finally on my Nexus 10 here running Lollipop just before filming. And apologies in advance if it did anything to your all's devices. I always find it kind of fun to do that. Also, apparently the content in the Play Store is going to be receiving a little bit more scrutiny in the future. Google is putting together a team to manually screen apps when they get put into the store, so the approval process is going to take a little bit longer than the automated process they have now, but hopefully it will help cut down on some of the malware, it'll fix some of the adult content that has not been properly moderated yet. They're also planning to start putting ratings on apps to let parents know if they're appropriate for their children or not. As a parent, I definitely approve of this. It's had something like that for iOS for quite a while now, and this should make parental controls on Android significantly easier. They're also going to be bringing Android Device Manager to Android Wear, so if you lose your device, your phone or something, you can say, "Okay Google, start Find My Phone," and it should just start ringing your phone. Not sure what happens if your phone goes out of range of your device, because at that point you can't really get in touch with their service. You might just be out of luck at that point. Now moving on to some device updates. This week, the T-Mobile Nexus 6 received its Android 5.1 OTA update. Sony has started rolling out Lollipop to the Xperia Z2, Z3, and the Z3 Compact. Though, as usual, it will take time for the update to reach all areas, so please be patient. Samsung is rolling out Lollipop to the Galaxy S4 LTE in the UK, and that has been captured and made available through the forum if you haven't yet received it. HTC announced that, as far as the M7 is concerned, only the Google Play Edition is actually going to receive Android 5.1, and that should arrive sometime in early April. A little bit of a bummer there. OnePlus also announced that Oxygen OS should be available by March 27th, and CM12S should be available by March 30th, so do be on the lookout for those as well. I've been mashing the OTA update button pretty spastically for the last few weeks. The 2014 Moto G has been added to the official list of CM12 nightlies, so if you've got that device, head on over to their site for the download links, or head over to the forum thread for more details on it. XDA Senior recognized developer Jay Case released version 3 of Sunshine, a tool used to bootloader unlock or S-off devices, and it works with a bunch of newer Motorola and HTC devices. According to the thread, this is a commercial product, so if you've got one of their supported devices and you do want to unlock it or get S-off on it, it's going to cost you $25 per device. Also this week, Chainfire mentioned on Google Plus that he's put up the first CF auto routes for the Galaxy S6 family, including the T-Mobile S6 and S6 Edge. And one last thing, a discussion went up on the portal asking if your phone could currently replace your PC entirely. I know in my case, not gonna happen, but I do a lot of video editing, as you might expect. I've considered moving my software development stuff over to Android though, which would actually be kind of interesting. I read some articles about a guy moving everything to an iPad, and I think it could be done with Android as well. Anyway, as usual, 3 other videos were posted to XDA TV this week. TK did an Expose Tuesday talking about the native clipboard module, then he reviewed the 2015 Moto E, and then he did a What's on my Android device video. But you know what? That's gonna be about all from me for today. You can find the links to everything I talked about down in the video description as usual, as well as the links to my YouTube channels. Remember, if you like this video, please do give us a thumbs up down below the video. We definitely appreciate it. And hit subscribe to receive all of our content as soon as it becomes available. Thank you so much for watching though, and I will see you next time.